Welcome to the Fish House Nation podcast. I'm Chris Larson along with Al Escobedo, and we are talking ice fishing once again today. We're going to talk destinations again. We do have kind of a cool show coming up next time, but we've been talking a little destinations here the first couple shows with Al, and we're going to continue that. Let's talk a little Gull Lake today in Minnesota, and that's a lake that, you know, it's got a couple big resorts on it. Trapper's Landing is there, Grandview Lodge is there, a lot of cool resorts there. I know our friends with the Minnesota Recreational Rentals are out on that lake, so if someone doesn't have a fish house but wants to experience fish house fishing on Gull Lake, they're really good. So it's a big lake, and people obviously know about it, but I feel like when people are talking about ice fishing in Minnesota, they talk about Lake of the Woods and Mille Lacs. So I feel like it's kind of like that. Maybe not the most famous lake, but again, still pretty popular. There's a great system of roads out there. You can get around very well. And there's some awesome fishing out on Gull Lake. Tell me about your experiences out there.
Well, the last time I was out there was pretty tough. We were fishing a tournament for Minnesota Made, and we got hit with a lot of weather. So that experience wasn't my favorite, but it is a great fishery. The league that I fish in is for panfish, obviously. So we were targeting bluegills and crappies, and they got quality of both of those species, a lot of fish out there. It did take a lot of work to find those bigger fish, but they're out there. When you find them, they're really nice. I didn't get on them. We had an array of issues during that tournament, from sinking it was in a slush pocket, put a four-wheeler up to the front and back racks. We buried them pretty good a couple different times there. Broke a CV axle on my four-wheeler. And then speaking of the resorts up there, there's a lot of great options if you don't have your own equipment. You are starting to get into that northern part of the state where it can be tricky. If they get a lot of snow, it can be tricky to navigate. And what we ended up doing on tournament day is we went to one of those resorts and we actually rented snowmobiles. It was pretty reasonable. They were decent snowmobiles with some compartments that we could put some of our stuff on and hook up a sled to the back and go. So that worked out pretty well. But as far as the fishing goes, it's a great fishery. I find that, it is definitely one of the more overlooked walleye fisheries in the state. It's a great walleye fishery. Lots of numbers, quality fish, a lot of good quality eater fish. A lot of guys, like you said, running up to Mille Lacs in particular. I'll bring that one up in comparison just because you're running about the same time frame traveling from the Twin Cities metro area. You're not going to have the traffic. You're not going to have the number of people out there. It's not as quite of a party town, but it's in my opinion, a lot more of an opportunity at those eater class fish. So at the end of the day, if you're a guy that's mainly going after those big class trophy specific fish, yeah, maybe Mille Lacs might be a better option. But if you're looking for, I'm not saying that you don't have a great opportunity. There's a lot of really big ones in Gull Lake, but there's also a lot of fish that you can fill your bucket and have a nice little fillet of fish fry at home with the family as well. Where at Mille Lacs, you really don't have both those options. You're looking really only to catch maybe, obviously, that one eater fish and then the chance at a real big one. But Gull Lake has the big ones to offer, but they just have a lot more eater class fish.
There's a lot to do. I mean, it's right in the Brainerd Lakes area too. So maybe you want to bring the family up, and maybe, you've got little ones that don't want to be around that. I mean, there's like a water park resort there in Brainerd. There's a lot of different things that the family could do in Brainerd. If you wanted to get out there fishing, if everybody wants to go fishing, great. There's those opportunities. But the nice thing about being up in that area is there's just so much to do in Brainerd.
Exactly. Beautiful country. All the shops a wife could want. Like you said, when we stayed up there for the tournament, we stayed at the water park. The kids played while we were out fishing and scouting and doing our thing. It's just a great area. Very, very tourist friendly. I mean, there's just a lot to do aside from the fishing, and it is beautiful country. I mean, pictures, if you're looking for a place just to take pictures, see wildlife, and catch fish, it's another great destination in Minnesota to go and check out.
Yeah. Tell me about when you guys are out there fishing, what kind of structure were you targeting to find your fish?
So basically, really what we found as far as the crappies go, we were only chasing basin crappies, but they were relating to deeper weed lines. So if you were finding those deeper weed lines, you could kind of stay on them, because obviously in Minnesota Made, you can use live scope and scouting and all that kind of stuff, but you can't use it on tournament day. So that really eliminates that chance of scanning and chasing. So you got to find some sort of structure. So we're finding those deeper weed lines. Kind of, again, another transition into the basin, and kind of just found fish that hung out there. We struggled a little bit with our crappies just because we didn't get the time to pre-fish and scout like we wanted to. And then the bluegills, we just went shallow into the weeds and find those weed edges, and you'll find some fish.
Yeah, great walleye bite out there as well, and it's really well known as a place that if you want to take your wheelhouse out there, there's a night bite out there. So if you're looking to kind of spend the night, get those rattle reels down, maybe put out some tip ups with some lights on them so you can see if you get a strike. Gull Lake is a great place to go out and fish walleyes with the night bite out there.
Exactly, it's a great option. There's not a whole lot of great walleye bites that are at night, so it is one of the few that's a really good option. And you know, in that Brainerd Lakes area too, it's a pretty central hub lake. So if you want to go and catch a night bite for some walleyes or stay there, but you want to go and specifically target crappies or bluegills or perch or you name it, there's a million lakes in the area that you could just get up, hop in the truck, leave the base camp there and hop over to another lake for a couple hours and come back. So it's a great area for a lot of different options and a lot of different things that you can do.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's just, if you need gear, I mean, the retailers are there. You got places to go to get your gear. It's honestly, it's a place that you could just kind of hang out and you know, leave your fish house there, come back and get it on the weekends, and you're ready to rock. Again, a lot of resorts, the roads system's already put in place there, and a lot of opportunities to get out there and do some ice fishing, whether you're chasing panfish, walleyes, pike, doesn't matter. They're there in Gull Lake.
And just like any other destination lake, I will tell you, follow the resorts out there, because they're going to keep you posted on ice conditions. They're going to keep you posted on the road systems, if they're having issues, if there's cracks or anything like that, because safety is number one. Anytime you're traveling, especially long distance, I would call ahead someone, a resort, a bait shop, multiple if you can, to get as many opinions as what's going on, because you know, some of these big lakes like Gull Lake, for example, you might talk to a guy on the north end and he might not have any idea what's going on the south end of the lake, or what's, you know, the ice conditions vary so much. And when you're traveling that far, you want to make sure you're going to get up there and be good to go and be able to get to the part of the lake that you want.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, probably the most famous area of that lake is Hole in the Day Bay. That's where they have the JC's ice fishing extravaganza. And that's something that I think is just a great event. If you're gonna, let's say you want to go up there for the weekend, you're not gonna be able to put your fish house in Hole in the Day Bay that weekend, but you put your fish house somewhere else, you come into town and you fish the extravaganza, and you don't need to bring an auger or anything. They drill all the holes ahead of time. If it's really cold, you're probably gonna need to bring something to kind of chip those holes open, but they basically drill a ton of holes throughout the entire bay, and you're fishing all day out there on a bucket. Can't bring your house. You're on a bucket, you're gonna be outside, but some incredible prizes, and it all goes to a great cause there as well at the JC's.
It's a great spectacle if you've never got to experience it. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to guess the numbers, but there's a lot of people up there. The people watching is fun. Everyone's up there having a good time chasing fish. It's a really cool event, and it's, like Chris said, there's a lot of really good prizes, and you have a chance at winning a pickup truck and you name it. So.
Fish houses. And if you want to know more about that, you know, you get to the St. Paul Ice Show in December. They've always got a booth there. They're selling tickets right there at the St. Paul Ice Show, and a lot of the JCs are there. You can talk to them and ask them, you know, whatever questions you have. But that's every year up there on Gull Lake, and again, just a great opportunity to spend the weekend up there. Again, you're going to want your fish house not next to the event, but hang out, relax for the weekend, run into town for the tournament and enjoy it. So a lot of cool things up on Gull Lake.
Yeah, make sure you guys get some time, go up there and check out. It's really a staple area in the state of Minnesota as far as the ice belt. Really well-known area, but I think it gets overlooked a lot, and it's a great fishery. And like I said, I don't think we can highlight enough the great opportunities aside from just fishing up there for bringing the entire family along. I mean, it's a great place for that alone, let alone the quality of the fishing on top of it.
Right. Yeah, I think it's one of those places that, there's resorts there. And if you're going to go to those resorts, you're obviously going to fish the lake. But it feels like it's not, when people are like, hey, I'm going to go somewhere for the weekend, where should I go? I feel like you never hear anybody say go here, but I really think that that's a mistake. And again, if you're looking for a place to bring your fish house, or if you're looking for a place just to pop around, it's just a great lake that's very underappreciated for what it is. So, all right, everybody, that's it for this week's show. For Al Escobedo, I'm Chris Larson. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.